So here are just 5 top tips that will help you master the Ucat. So tip number 1 is understanding what the question is asking of you. If you understand the question, then it makes the whole revision process a lot more easier. So in the earlier stages of your revision, you really want to understand what the question is asking of you. So if you understand the question, then doing the questions under time limit makes it a whole lot more easier. I didn't do that. I went straight in doing it under time limit, but not really understanding the question, all in a rush. Don't do that. Don't rush. So yeah, you really want to take it easy in the earlier stages of your revision and really understand what the question is asking of you. Tip number 2, practice makes perfect. You want to have a lot of practice with these questions. The more practice you have, the more you're able to identify certain questions and immediately come to an answer. So the more practice you have, the better it is. Tip number 3, identify your weaknesses. So you really want to be identifying where you're going wrong and really focus more time on those areas, which is why earlier on I mentioned about the Excel spreadsheet where you manually input your Ucat scores, and then over a certain time frame you see where you're actually going wrong, whether you're progressing or you have plateaued, or whether you're decreasing in your progress. So it's really good to identify that and really focus more on the points at where you're really lacking, and so doing this really does help. Fourthly, your timing is a big issue in the Ucat. It's probably the most important issue that you'll be facing in the Ucat exam, because sometimes you're just, in all honesty, you're not going to answer all the questions in the Ucat. So you really want to get to grips with flagging, and by flagging you're going to save more time on the questions that you can answer and gain the mark. So this is really important. So timing, working around time, doing timed questions is really important, and then alongside that using the flag button as well. And lastly, you want to be practicing consistently. You don't want to have a day break. Let's say you've been revising for 10 days and then suddenly have a 5-day break. Honestly, you don't want that. You want to be revising consistently every single day, whether that's 4 hours every day, whether you do 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening, and then slowly build that up. But you don't really want to have a break, because usually when you have a break you end up forgetting things, and when you go back into it, it's just a lot harder. So you really want to build up your momentum.